Hey guys, Ed here, and this week's Friday pickup video is dedicated to Lawnboyspost1975. I actually had no intention of posting a pickup video this week, but Dave inspired me, so thank you very much, Dave. Now, as far as the pickups go, I've put a lot of the stuff I picked up along the last 7 months away, and I don't remember what I have and haven't showed, so I'm just going to show you the stuff that I know has never been in a video. And somebody is texting me. Let's just see who that is. Don't ya hate Chryslers? That is from Yell Chaos. Yes, Yell Chaos, I am not a huge fan of Chryslers. Now, back to the pickups. Alright, some of this is pedestrian and boring, but there is at least one pickup that I made where I got to stick it to Goodwill, and that makes me happy. So, here you go. This is the boring stuff first. A Tiger LCD handheld Kings of the Beach. It's not a terribly fun one, but it was only 10 cents, and I kind of have a soft spot for these things, because when I was younger, my mom didn't have a lot of money for all of us kids. There were 6 of us in the house, and when my dad died, I think there were still 4 of us, and there wasn't a lot of money to go around. So I played a lot of these stupid things. So I can't help but pick them up. The next thing is really boring, but you'll understand why in a second. I bought 3 of these power supplies for $1.99 for the Game Boy Advance and a few other handheld systems. I have Game Boy Advances strewn all over the house, and you can never find a charger. I think I've got one charger for all of them. So I'm constantly picking the things up, and the batteries are dead. And then, of course, batteries like that go bad when you leave them dead for long periods of time, so I got chargers. Hopefully this, along with the one I've got, will be enough to keep everything charged. Though, considering that I can never seem to find any one of the 50 cell phone and tablet chargers I have around the house, I'm probably never going to see those again once I get them out in circulation. Next, I grabbed this thing here. And yeah, it was only $2, and yes, it's a controller that's probably not going to get a whole lot of use, but it is in the box. And the reason I grabbed this is, I was really only exposed to computers as a kid in school. And this is the same joystick that we used to have in our computer lab when I was in middle school. And I love this thing. There was only one of them, and to get people to share was next to impossible. So this, really a nostalgia pick. And for $2, it didn't hurt the budget bad enough that I could just leave it sit there. It looked kind of sad sitting there. I grabbed, for $1, a Super Nintendo Entertainment Center cleaning kit. Why did I grab this? I really don't know. It was $1. And now I can clean my Super Nintendos. That's cool, right? I don't remember when I got this, but I did pick up one Sega Genesis game that I didn't have. It was $5, which is more than I like to spend on any game, but I've been looking for this one for quite some time. Turns out it is not a great game, but it's a good game, and it's one that I've wanted to have for a while. So there you go. I spent $5 on a Sega Genesis game. Then I was in Alliance, Ohio. My daughter had a softball tournament, and why is my color going all funny? My daughter had a softball tournament. We were going to be there most of the day, and between games we had like a 2-hour. Every time I look at it, it's fine, but as soon as I look away and start talking, the color goes. It did it again. Stop that. Anyway, there was a 2-hour layover, so I decided to go and check out the local Goodwill, and I found a bunch of games. There were a bunch of Atari 5200 games, which I have never seen in a Goodwill before, and there were some Dreamcast games, along with a few other things, and everything was $2. So I tried to buy the Dreamcast games based on memory, because apparently I have not filled out my collection app on my phone, and I don't know what I already had. I was pretty certain that I didn't have Metropolis Street Racing, so I picked this up for $2. These were all taped closed, and I couldn't get into them, so sadly, when I opened this one, there was no disc. I thought it felt a little light, but I took a chance for $2, and I got burned. Then I grabbed Hoyle's Casino. I'm actually hoping that this will convince my wife to play a couple of games with me on the Dreamcast, because she likes all those silly little flash games on the computer. Maybe this will get her to sit in front of a console with me. And then finally, I knew I had a Rainbow Six game. I thought I had the other one. Unfortunately, even though I thought this was a new one for me, I already had it. That figures, right? That's what you get when you go based on memory. However, I did grab a couple of TurboGrafx 16 games. Time Ball, which I knew I didn't have because this app I had filled out. Unfortunately, it is not a great game. This is like a puzzle game. And while it's not terrible, it certainly isn't the kind of thing that you would have expected to see on the TurboGrafx-16. That system has way too many cool and interesting games to have that. Then I grabbed this game, Hit the Ice, which I have not played on the TurboGrafx-16 yet. I just put that one in to try it out. But I have played Hit the Ice on other systems. I think the Super Nintendo is the system I played it on, and it is a pretty good hockey game. So, not too bad. Couple of games for the TurboGrafx-16, even though one of them is awful. Now, we get to some of the more interesting stuff. A while back, I walked into a Goodwill, and I had a 35% off, well, it's not a coupon anymore, it's just a discount that you get on this card that I've been wanting to find something to use on. Well, I finally ran across this. Nintendo 64, came with all the cords and then a non-matching controller, and it was $20. So, I don't know, do the math, 35% off of that is, I don't remember. And math is too hard for me to figure out at the moment. What is that? $3.50, $7. There you go, $14. And finally, the pickup that I was referring to earlier, the one where I got to burn a Goodwill, requires a little bit of setup. Pardon me. I was in Medina for work, and I was actually on my way home. And I stopped by a Goodwill. It's actually my favorite looking Goodwill, and if I can remember, I'll put a picture up here somewhere. It kind of looks like, from the front, sort of like a, I don't know, like a seafront shop, because it's got like windows all across the front, and then it's got this weird looking silo on the side. But it's just very odd. I have no idea what it was before it was a Goodwill, but I like that one. So I kind of drove in off the side. There's a side entrance, and that's where they put donations, or they drop off donations. And as I was driving by, I saw this box sitting on the ground, and I saw that it had a Nintendo in it and some games. So I stopped and I asked the lady. She was taking everything out of her car and setting it on the ground and getting ready to donate. There was somebody ahead of her in line. That's the only reason she hadn't donated yet. And I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, are you donating these?" And she said, "Yeah, they're my husband's, and he doesn't want them anymore, so he just told me to donate them." So I said, "Well, I have $25 in my wallet," and that was honestly all I had. I even showed her. I said, "If you'll take it, I'd be happy to buy them off of you because I'm a collector." I said, "I do already have a Nintendo, but I can take some of the games, give them my son, give them my brother, you know, sort of spread the love around a little bit." So she said, absolutely. Took $25. I took the box, and this is what was in the box. Had an RF adapter, the gun, and a single controller, but no power supply. I have power supplies all over the place, that's not a problem. Then it had the system, and in the system, you don't see it now, was a Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt, of course, and there was another Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt in the box. So it figures, anytime you buy a lot, you're always going to get at least 2 Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunts. But if you're interested, I'll show you the rest. And this segment's for you, Dave. It came with Baseball, Wheel of Fortune Family Edition. Yeah, that's what it is. Pictionary, because everybody needs at least 2 copies of Pictionary. Winter Games by Epix. RoboCop 2. RoboCop. Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt, Super Mario Bros. Duck Hunt, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, Dr. Mario, Dragon Warrior, Godzilla, Monster of Monsters. Sadly, not nearly as good as it looks like it should be. I'm sure somebody out there plays Godzilla and they love it because they know how to play it. I apparently don't know how to play it. I didn't know how to play it when I was a kid. I still don't know how to play it as an adult. And while it's cool to see Godzilla on the screen, I don't have a lot of fun playing it. Sorry, I'm going to have to clear my throat. I apologize. Battletoads, Tetris, WWF WrestleMania, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project, Galaga, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Solstice, which is one of my brother Jim's favorite games, and we're on the home stretch here. Back to the Future, Double Dribble, Rad Racer 2, Rad Racer, Tiny Toon Adventures, and Chippendale's Rescue Rangers. So, there you go. I got this nice stack of NES games, the console, a controller, a single gun, and an RF adapter for $25, and I managed to keep it from suffering at the hands of Goodwill. Now, a lot of you out there probably say, oh man, I can't believe that you stole from a charity like that. Well, first of all, I didn't steal. I bought it off of a person before they donated it. And second, if you've ever really looked into Goodwill and the way they operate, they're really a corporation now out to make money. They're not so much a charity anymore. And I'm not going to get into the details. Feel free to look all those up yourself, but I would never do that to almost any other charity. However, Goodwill, they've been springing up these retail stores all over the place, and they're positioning them so that they're a particular distance apart, and what it's actually doing is shutting down or causing a lot of other charities to go out of business, because charities like this that have thrift stores require donations. And when you've got these great big Goodwill retail operations popping in, it's easier to donate to them. They're in a more convenient location. So you've got all of these other charities that are going belly up now. They're thrift stores because they can't afford to stay in business. Now, I don't hold that necessarily against Goodwill. If Goodwill was an honorable charity, I would have less problem with that. However, when you start looking into the fact that they pay out to their CEOs and the people that own the, I don't even remember how the structure works, when you look at how much they pay those people versus the pennies on the dollar they pay the handicapped folks that work for them, it's despicable. It really is. I don't care how you try and explain it to me. I will never understand. It's a horrible thing. Then you look into the fact that they don't really donate that much to charity, considering how much they take in. And when you buy something there, they ask you to donate money, your change, to their charity to help pad the numbers for that charity. So, I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it. Do your research yourself, but I do not feel even a little bit bad for taking this from Goodwill. If you don't like that, I apologize. So, there you go. Thanks, Dave, for motivating me to do a pickup video this week, and to all of you for watching. Why did you sit here for 13 minutes?